Previously on Live to Fish Outboard Repair.
Some issue with what we think is a fuel delivery problem. So I pulled the carburetor off, rebuilt it, and you'll see what was inside next. Push the button, we'll see what happens. Brought this motor back to me. I went to his place and I rebuilt the carburetor, and he took it out. It was okay for a while, and then he brought it back home. Tried to start it the driveway, I guess, and it just died on him. Couldn't get it started again. So I took a look at it. I got it running in the garage here. Changed out the tank, but my tank was brand new gas. Still had the problem. It was sputtering and then dying, and like it was missing. So I checked the spark plugs. Spark plugs were very carboned up, and again the gap on the second cylinder was a 40 thousandths. Should have been at 30. And I know I gapped these spark plugs when I went to his house. So I don't know if the engine is causing the gap to go out of whack or what, but we're gonna get some new spark plugs. We got them on order. When they get here, I'll put them in. And hopefully this thing will run better. I mean, it's running okay now. That's neutral. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's in gear. That was in forward gear. It was chugging along good. I'll put it back in a neutral. Bring down the idle a little bit.
I noticed that the throttle linkage on the tiller handle didn't seem to be pushing the throttle far enough so that the idle was just too low. And just by turning this connection, taking it off the ball stud and turning it out several turns, allowed for the throttle to be advanced slightly, keeping the motor running at a little higher RPM, and so that you can see that the dog ears here are the roller cam is centered more towards these indicators. If the roller cam goes too far to the right, it will begin to stall.
A lot better response out of it. It doesn't cough or spit. So it's just a little adjustment there. The spark plugs are probably okay, but it doesn't hurt to change them anyway. Seems to be idling good, responding good. So where they come to rest. That throttle here, roller cam, is resting about just exactly where I'd like it to be, at least for this motor. If it goes back any further, it wants to stammer and stall. I think that's a good position for this particular motor. Comes up in the idle when you put it in neutral a little bit. It's running good. I don't see anything wrong with this. All right, well, I was going to take the carburetor off again and rebuild it again, but I really don't think that's necessary. But every now and then I get a little bit of a twist in it. But that could be that doggone spark plug too. I didn't see any arcing of the wires in the dark or anything like that, so I'm not getting any stray electrical problems. But I think it's running fairly good for how it is. I did not do a compression on this. I don't believe I did. I don't have any history on that, but it seems to be running good anyway. I don't think that the compression is an issue. It seems to have pretty good depth to it. But anyway, if you have an opinion, let me know it. Because I think it's running great. Hey, what do you guys think? I mean, I think she's running good. So I don't see any issues now. But, you know, again, the old spark plugs, I guess those, you know, if he hasn't replaced them in a while, maybe just got carboned up and out of whack on the gap. So I think my job on the carburetor was okay. All right, well, we'll revisit this when the spark plugs arrive and see if it runs any better. We'll go from there.
Okay, I haven't changed the spark plugs yet in this, but I did want to try a cold start. Previously you saw it running, but it was pretty much warmed up, and I don't think you even got to see it start up. So let's see. I've already pumped the primer. I'm going to advance the throttle a little bit, maybe high idle, and we'll crank it and see what happens. I'm going to prime it, give it a couple pumps on the primer. There we go. There she goes. She wants to fire. Yeah, she's cold and she's missing a bit. Let me see here. Keep the primer out. Pushed in all the way. Set it up on high speed warm up. It's moving out some now. I think a certain amount of this he's going to have to learn to live with. I believe that this is running okay. I did see a little bit of fuel come out here, but because I primed the crap out of it. So I primed it, pumped it good, gave it some good throttle, and it fired up. I'll kill it with this, and we'll see if she'll fire back up again. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, she wants to take off, that's for sure. So I think it's running okay. It might have a little bit of a lean seize at the beginning, but I've already adjusted this carburetor as much as I can, and I think it's okay. I said she's not. It does need the new spark plugs. We're going to replace those, and I think that'll do the job. So we'll revisit that again when the new spark plugs arrive in a couple of days, and we'll start this up again and see if we have an improvement. So that's all I can do for it. I think that'll be the fix, or at least that'll be another part of the fix for this. Just to recap, we fixed the throttle control a little bit, got the idle up. Back here we increased the throttle adjustment on. All right, well, I think once it's got some new spark plugs in it, it might behave a little bit differently too, because those spark plugs were pretty nasty and carboned up. The lower one had a bad gap to it. I re-gapped it. I was at least going to try some of these spark plugs at this point. It runs good. It starts good. It starts good when I shut it off. She seems to be responsive that way. So again, why it stammered a little, but I'll give some more gas and get some spark plugs in it, and we'll give it a whirl again. So at this point, I'm going to sign off.
One thing I did notice, if you look down here, as I pump the primer, look at that. It's spraying all out. I didn't notice that before. I guess over here you don't see it so much, but when you really pull on that primer, I got a nice leak on that, and that could be creating a problem too. So let's start this back up after I fix this leak and see what happens. Okay, we're gonna do a compression check and see what that lower cylinder is like. Maybe do the top one too. About close to 120. It's almost, I'd say 115. 115. Okay, this is going to be the top cylinder. That looks pretty close to the same. Maybe 115, 120. 115 on both. Well, that's good news. Okay, so compression is good. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, I've got the brand new spark plugs in today. So they're got them from marineengine.com, and they're the same. They're the same Champion spark plug we had in it, the QL77JC4s. Here's the old one, and you can see it's been carboned up pretty good. Probably, you know, I mean, cleaning them up should have worked. I'm going to see if it'll make it run a little bit better. So we'll take the old one out. I've already got the top one in. Okay. I've run it for a little while. It seemed to be running a lot better after I fixed those fuel leaks. That one's not nearly as wet as that top one was. That one looks like it's actually burning kind of dry. Huh. Why would the top one be wet and the bottom one be dry and burned? Huh. Maybe that top one's getting a little too much fuel. See what happens now. Put these in, see how she runs. Tight. Let's fire it back up and see what we got. Still seem to be running much different, but found that fuel leak here from the primer. And every time I pump the primer, it would leak out of here, but I think that's just to to help lubricate the lower bearing there, but it does seem to be smoothing out a bit. It seems to be idling a little bit better. Getting a little bit of fuel. I can see the fuel coming from this damn gasket here. I knew I should have rebuilt that or sent in for some new gaskets for this. And I can see it leaking a little bit. I don't like it. See it cooling here, right where the gasket is. Coming down here and cooling a little bit. Well, that means that carburetor's probably got to come back off again, so I can put a new gasket in it. Didn't notice that before. Didn't see it leaking there. It is definitely running better. Well, I'm going to call the owner of this, and if he wants me to pull that carburetor back off and put a new gasket in, I will. It will just mean a few more days, but it is pooling gas down at the bottom down there. And that's a lot of gas. I got to do that. I got to order another gasket for it. All right, well, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. At least she's running. Still not over yet. Well, I'm going to call it a night. I think maybe I'll come back out and try to start it cold again one more time just to see what it does. But I am concerned about the gasket. I think it very could possibly be just, you know, this leaky gasket here that might be creating an air leak in there and maybe making it run a little rough. So I'll get something on order and replace that gasket and hopefully seal it back up. But otherwise, it runs pretty good for, you know, what it is, and the age and vintage and probably how this thing's been run. So anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. So we'll see what happens.